What's happening, people? Praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. Today, you're not going to see a picture of me, but that's all right. It's all well and good. If you like this video, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The link will be in the description of this video. This video was brought to you by. It's brought to you by LIVE products. LIVE. Live now. We're live now. The red products are orange, Morby, grapefruit, fruit punch, and sorrow when it comes to drinks, natural fruit drinks. And also you have cleaning agents such as disinfectant, fabric softener, dishwashing liquid, and also liquid detergent for your clothes. LIVE. Live now. We're live now. All right, let's get into it. Keshawn Davis is a real hot name right now in boxing. His performances are quite excellent. He stopped his last opponent with a body shot. Keshawn Davis has been in many interviews, promoting himself, bringing his name to the fore. So he is one of those rising stars separating himself, and you're hearing about this name, Keshawn Davis, quite a lot. Of course, being with Top Rank promotes their prospects and fighters. He's no longer a prospect. I think he's now a contender because I think he won some sort of minor world title. So Keshawn Davis has been starting to call out different people. We know him for calling out Teofimo Lopez, particularly. But he also has some other guys on his radar. We're hearing talks about Keshawn Davis versus Frank Martin. Now, the only problem with that, in my opinion, is that Frank Martin is coming off of a knockout loss. He's not looked at and perceived the same way how he was perceived before the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. So that's the thing. But Keshawn Davis has been talking about facing Frank Martin, and that's pretty interesting because when you think about it, Keshawn Davis versus Frank Martin may be on the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. And why I say Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, as you all know already, Gervonta Davis was supposed to face Vasily Lomachenko, but Vasily Lomachenko has pulled out of that fight negotiations when he said, he wants to take a break from boxing. He wants to chill out. He's not really motivated to face Tank, even though there's a lot of money on the line. Tank's one of the biggest names in boxing. This is the guy he supposedly was calling out for all these years, and all of a sudden, he's not really motivated, he said, to face Tank Davis. Take that for what you may. I think it's a duck. Nonetheless, that's what he said. So the next guy that Tank can face in the division, which I thought he should have faced already, he shouldn't even face Frank Martin. He should have faced Shakur Stevenson. Frank Martin was supposed to face Shakur Stevenson, and instead Tank ended up with Frank Martin. When Shakur Stevenson should have faced Tank. That's the person you should have faced. Not Frank Martin faced Tank. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. There was talks of Frank Martin being, just not ready. He's a good fighter and everything, but he wasn't ready for that level. And true to form, he was not ready for that level. Of course, he was fighting competitively in the fight. Of course, he was weight drained going into that fight. But nonetheless, because I believe there was a rehydration limit. But nonetheless, Frank Martin never really was in control of that fight. Showed his inexperience, He showed his inexperience, and that's just the way all that went. Now, Shakur Stevenson is not a Frank Martin. He's a much more experienced fighter, much better fighter, greater defensive fighter. And so this is the matchup we all wanted to see. So I'm kind of glad that old ass Lomachenko is out the way. Lomachenko's been performing, don't get me wrong. But we really want to see Shakur versus Tank, because Shakur is also a champion. Lomachenko is a champion. But Shakur holds the prestigious WBC title. And Gervonta Davis holds the prestigious WBA title. That's the real unification, in my opinion. The other belts are like later belts. So I would love to see Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. That's going to be a good fight. Anybody ask me, I got Shakur beating Tank. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about that. I think Shakur is going to beat Tank Davis if they do this fight at the end of the year. Because I heard Tank's trainer making up all kinds of shit about Shakur's tooth and all kinds of crazy shit like that, which I know that never happened, right? Shakur is a excellent boxer, but you got to create narratives because, this dude, Shakur, you're going to see how excellent he is against Tank Davis. You're going to see what Shakur can really bring to the table. That's Shakur, Devin Haney. I was saying Vasily Lomachenko might be able to give Tank problems, but of course Lomachenko gets hit to the body quite a lot. So, and that's Tank's forte. So maybe Tank would have gotten Lomachenko out of there. I don't know. Lomachenko does attack at angles, which makes it a lot more difficult to hit him really with all the power you really want to amass. You have to walk him into a shot, kind of like, and that's not as easy as it sounds. And Lomachenko does come on strong later on in the fight, so that would be an interesting fight to see. Lomachenko testing out Tank's power, figuring out whatever, not letting Tank touch him at all in the beginning, and then probably starting to work his offense. But Lomachenko's fought guys powerful like Tank. He fought Teofimo Lopez, you know. So it's not like, and he's fought heavy hitters. He's been dropped by heavy hitters. Jorge Linares dropped him. So I don't really think that Tank would have brought anything new to the table for Lomachenko, but Lomachenko backed out. Now that shows his hesitance to face a guy like Tank Davis. So it is what it is. But Shakur is definitely a guy who would face Tank, and I would love to see that. I would love to see that fight. I think a lot of people don't realize that Shakur Stevenson he's an exceptionally skilled fighter, and the real way to see this fighter, display everything he has is to really put him up against the really top level competition where he shines best. Kind of like Guillermo Rigondeaux shines best when he's facing top tier competition like Nonito Donaire and those kinds of guys, where he could display his counter punching skills, where he could display his inside fighting, that kind of thing. I'm talking about Shakur, that is, not Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux is not so much of an inside fighter. So I'd love to see this, but on the undercard of this, and this video's not going to be very long, people. On the undercard of this, why not Frank Martin versus Keshawn Davis, another Davis, Keshawn Davis. Now I would say though, just for the record, that Frank coming off a knockout loss, it ain't gonna look cool going into another fight and then he gets knocked out again. So I don't know if Frank Martin would agree to something like that. But him versus Keshawn Davis is a good fight, and I think who approached Frank? I think Keshawn approached Frank to get that fight, to get that work. I think it was something like that. Or was it Frank approaching Keshawn? I can't remember. But there they are. This is down here where they were. I don't know if it was Frank rolling up on Keshawn. I think Keshawn rolled up on Frank, wanting that work or something like that. So that would be a good fight to have. And it doesn't mean because Frank got stopped his last fight but it's just, it would be Frank to get another fight under his belt before he faces Keshawn, to look good again. So it is what it is. I don't know if that fight will happen, but it is a good fight for Keshawn. Keshawn having gotten out of there his last opponent, who was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, he was resistant and everything. But it would be nice to see that fight anyway. And maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. We'll see. But it would be nice for Frank Martin first to get a win under his belt, to get that winning way under him before he faces Keshawn. But we'll see. I don't know. After facing Tank, you want to face a certain level of opposition as well. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I am What You Need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. You can donate via PayPal. Your boy's out of here. That's all I got for you guys for now.